Alright, so got the Lightning and Leafs tonight. If you follow the channel, you know I've not felt great. Feeling a little bit better. Maybe about 70-80%. Medicine is a wonderful thing. So, Leafs, Lightning. Now, as a Panther fan, considering how we looked against the Capitals last night and the idea that it's likely to go 6 or 7 games if we're going to get out of that series intact, I don't mind Tampa Bay winning tonight so that we can get a 6 or 7 game series out of this one, because the last thing we need is Toronto winning in 5 and sitting around waiting for us while we and the Capitals beat the crap out of each other. So what are you going to see tonight? Well, Vasilevsky, got to see if he's going to return to form. Not that he was horrible the other night, but that wasn't the Tampa Bay that we're used to seeing on the ice in the playoffs. Not at all. Meanwhile, Toronto looked every bit like they're ready to take the next step and win a playoff round. And I'll go as far as to say Florida and Tampa Bay, probably the only two teams that I think would have a chance to take the Leafs out in the first round. They're good. They got a good team. Remind me a lot of like how the Panthers play. What do you say? Let's go with 4-3 Tampa. I'm smelling overtime. I'm smelling over. In fact, it's almost a damn near guarantee. I'm sick. I'm on the cusp of being better. That means a late night will happen out of my control. Yep, 4-3 Tampa, and hopefully just one overtime, please. Alright, so it's 1-0 Tampa after 1, and nothing says overtime quite like a goal with 1 second or 2 seconds left in the period to end a scoreless tie. I was all set to come on here during the post-first period segment and talk about how I think Toronto's ready to win this series. I think these guys have taken the next step, and I'm not really seeing that championship pedigree from Tampa. And as soon as I thought that, it was as though they read my mind. They spent the next few minutes playing like we've come to know that I can play. I'm stumbling over the words. They were like Tampa again. And then with 1.4 seconds left, I mean, just, you can't, you know, what are you going to do? You can't blame that one on Campbell, right? But same point, 1.4. It's always interesting to go back and watch what happens when you get a late goal like that with 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second left. I always like to go back and look at the replays after the game and see, did anybody let up? Did anybody kind of exhale? Because that's kind of what happened to the Panthers last night in that first power play. We killed off the 5-on-3, and then with 2 seconds left in the 5-on-4, you could almost feel them like look around and go, okay, we killed it, and instead we didn't kill it, and Tampa scored. So be curious to see what comes of that. Those are the goals. Those are the goals that win championships, win playoff series, win games. It's always some. It's not like the regular season. We'll put it that way. So all right. Nothing I saw changed 4-3 in overtime Tampa. It's going to be the Vasilevsky's on. Campbell's played really well. Let's do this. Alright, so it's 3-1 Tampa after 2. It was 2-1. Then Vasilevsky makes a pretty much impossible, ridiculous save. Toronto gives up a giveaway. Going back the other way. Breakaway. 5-hole. And it's 3-1. Not Campbell's fault. Situationally, though, I'm curious for you Toronto fans, because this has been something the Panther fans have talked about a lot the last couple of days, so I'm curious. It's 2-1. The breakaway goal with this 5-hole makes it 3-1. Just a question. Honest question. Obviously, a mistake was made, a defensive breakdown that led to the breakaway. At the same time, How much is Campbell at fault there? How much is Campbell at fault? Does the fault lie completely with the defensive player who made the initial mistake, or is it more like 50-50? Yes, there was a mistake, but in that situation, your goalie has to make the stop. Honest question. All right, so 5-3 Tampa wins. We've got a series. I can only hope my Panthers come back and play the same opposite game that Tampa played tonight than they did the other night. And I tell you this, give the Toronto fans credit because that building, with a minute and a half left, it's 5-3, you're down by 2, and you would have thought from the loudness and the rowdiness of that crowd that they were getting ready to cinch the Stanley Cup. You would think that they were getting ready to win the whole thing. That crowd was just absolutely lit. And they were down by 2. Down by 2. So, mad props to you guys. I get it. You guys haven't won in a while. I know what that's like. And, but the bad news is Tampa probably went into Toronto thinking, let's just split, get out of town. That's exactly what they did. So, that's going to be it's going to go 7 games. I don't see how this one doesn't go 7 games. This one was, Tampa turned it on. They didn't quite have it there to the last few minutes of the first period, and all of a sudden, like a light switch, you kind of saw, hey, we're the 2-time champs. You kind of saw that energy and that attitude just click in, and then they did what champions do, which is get a goal with 1.4 seconds left in the period, and those are the goals. Those are the goals, and the goals again. The one that Vasilevsky saved, and then it comes back down the other way, and Campbell gets beat on a breakaway, and that's the difference in this game, of those 2 goals. So, but that being said, Tampa absolutely played better. They outplayed Toronto tonight. I don't know that Toronto really relaxed. I mean, I don't see that. It's just Tampa knows how to win. They're not going to go quietly. They are not going to just get, this one's going 7. I'd be shocked if we see anything else. Other than that, I mean, Campbell did his job for the most part. Again, curious, what you guys' feelings are on that breakaway. It was a bit of controversy started by myself in terms of Bobrovsky and the breakaway from the other night, which I understand. Bob's breakaway was more difficult of a save. Just curious for another fan base's opinion, because right now in Pantherland, yeah, if you say the wrong word, you are a demonic spawn from hell. There can be no gray area right now with the Panther fans, and I understand that. I do that plenty myself. We want to win, and emotions run high, and we want to win. So do you. So I'm looking at this Tampa-Toronto series. It's weird because it seems like every time it starts to get really like it's going to take on a Florida-Tampa feel, every time it gets starting to get a little bit rough, and the after the whistle plays start to happen, it seems to temper down just a little bit. Where against the Panthers last year, that just kept ramping up and ramping up and ramping up. So they seem to be self-monitoring in this series a little bit more. So if I had to call it right now, I still can't bet against Tampa. That's tough. It's tough. You know what I mean? Vasilevsky in an elimination game. Until he's beaten, you can't beat. You can't bet against them. So, all right. Appreciate everybody who's new to the channel. I'm still down. I started this recap at about 80%. I'm probably down to 70% now and fading. I honestly should have gone to bed, but it's the playoffs. And like I said last night with the recap, if I'm not dead, I'm showing up. But I need a nap tomorrow. I definitely need a nap. So tomorrow night, Panthers, Capitals. I'm loving this every other night format, by the way. My girlfriend couldn't quite understand why I had hockey every single night, because I kept saying, well, every other night and every other night and every other night. So right now, I'm loving this. If both If both series go 7 games, all the more better. So, all right. I'll see you tomorrow with all the Panthers content.